expertise in flying is limited to strategically scrambling for an aisle seat aboard a jetliner, I am aware of a very important gauge on the dashboard of the cockpit. Obviously, every gauge in an object that's traveling hundreds of miles per hour, tens of thousands of feet above the earth is important. However, the gauge that I'm speaking of must always be observed and taken heed of. The gauge that I speak of is the attitude indicator. The sole purpose of the attitude indicator is to inform the pilot of the aircraft's orientation relative to the Earth's horizon. This gauge gives the pilot a quick reference to understand if the pitch or the bank of the airplane, in other words, is the nose of the airplane pointing downwards toward the earth or upwards. Certainly, we can all understand the concern of an airplane that is traveling with a negative attitude, its nose headed toward the earth. 2 weeks ago, we talked about the importance of ensuring the strength of our physical bodies. Then last week, we discussed the necessity of ensuring our mind and thoughts are strong. This week, we're going to look at the essentiality of maintaining a vibrant and healthy attitude. There are many people that are incredibly talented and insanely gifted. Physically, they're strong. Mentally, they're sharp. Yet their attitude indicator is flashing an emergent indicator that tragedy, a very tragic ending is near if there is not an attitude adjustment. Walking around with a chip on their shoulders, daring somebody just to look at them wrong or say a word that could possibly be interpreted as offensive, that is a certain recipe for destruction. The first attitude adjustment that I will deal with this week is the need to release resentment. Resentment is defined as bitter indignation for having been treated unfairly. Hebrews 12 and 15 in the New Living Translation warns us, watch out that no poisonous root of bitterness grows up to trouble you, corrupting many. When we allow resentment to contaminate our attitude, it affects every relationship in our lives. The truth is that even the definition of resentment explains that the cause of our bitterness may very well be justified. It stems from having been treated unfairly. Nobody likes to be treated unfairly, yet we have all been treated unfairly. What is it that allows one person who has been treated unfairly to maintain a good attitude while the person next to them who has also been treated unfairly is negative and difficult to get along with? It is not the absence of having been treated unfairly, it's dealing with the emotion of having been done wrong before it becomes a deep-seated hurt. The emblem of the Christian faith, the one that we as Christians are all striving to imitate and be more like Jesus Christ, he endured certain unfair treatment, an innocent man, yet he was beaten until his body was not even recognizable as a human being. He was spat upon, whipped, nailed to a cross, and a spear was shoved into his side. And yet among his last words was, Father, forgive them. Jesus understood and exemplified for us that you must release resentment. Just as the airplane whose attitude indicator shows that the nose of the plane is headed down, we must make a correction or certain destruction will come. We must also choose today to correct our attitude. What unfair treatment must you forgive today? What painful occurrence in your life has driven your attitude indicator downward, but must be altered in order for the journey of your life to arrive at its desired destination and not in short of that in tragedy?